July kicks off on a strong note. The key indices end at the day's high. Mid-cap index outperforms, hitting a fresh record high. Large-cap financials and IT and metals lead, while utilities lag in trade.
PVR Inox gains after Kalki becomes 2024's highest grossing Indian film in only 3 days. Brokerages Nuvama and MK issue a buy rating with a target price of 1,995 and 1,650 rupees respectively.
IT index surges close to 2%, taking its 1-month gain to 14%, aided by CLSA's double upgrade on Wipro and optimism getting into Q1 earnings, which start next week. Hello and welcome to a fresh edition of Markets Forward, your go-to show where we aim to get you all the data points with regard to today's trading session and set you up for tomorrow's trade as well. I'm Nigel D'Souza. Joining me, my colleague Reema Tendulkar. Hey Reema.
Hi Nigel, what a strong start to the month of July, and July is going to see so many triggers. We've got the budget, the earnings season, and we kick-started with the auto sales numbers. But let's tell you what we have for you on our show in the next 20 minutes. We're going to get you all the big news, the key developments in Dalal Street, top corporate voices, the key events to track ahead. But first, the market action. You know, the start, it was a bit iffy, right? We had a soft start, but then things picked up.
Well, that's right. You know, Reema, actually on Friday's trading session, we saw a bit of a dive from the high point of the day. That was because the RSI went to that upper end of the band, which was 70. You had the PCR as well that went to around 1.5, and that's why there was a technical factor that played out. So that's why getting into today's session, well, the street was a little bit nervous, but it was a very good trading session. So after a solid close to June, well, you had build on that you saw from the start of July itself. So good start to July for the Nifty. The Nifty Bank, though, that was a relative underperformance trade because the Nifty ended with a gain of close to under 0.5%. The Nifty Bank was a little bit of an underperformer, and that's because of SPI. SPI actually was trading in the red for majority of the trading session, while a couple of private sector banks, they did quite well. Tech space, well, it ruled the roost. You know, Reema will get us further details on that front. You had an upgrade coming in from CLSA. You had some of those larger cap names as well did do well. And mid-cap names, they as well were up anything between 3 to around 5%. So tech was really the strong point of the trading session, and that's why it really offset any kind of weakness that we saw in the banking names. Small cap index, that was the big performer. That, in fact, ended with a gain of around 1.5%, and that's why your portfolio will be feeling rather good for today. What else, Reema?
Well, just in the last about 10-15 minutes, markets did come off a bit.
Yeah.
So we lost about 22 points from the day's high. But again, it was just in the last 10 minutes. But other than that, look at the way the markets have closed out. 130 points higher on the Nifty, closer to 24,150. The sensex gaining 450 points. Very strong advanced decline ratio. The advanced decline ratio had about 5 stocks gaining for 2 in the red. We spoke about IT, and that's because it's the top, gainer. Lots of individual stocks doing well. So the top 2 Nifty gainers were Tech Mahindra and Wipro. But even the others, the large cap names like TCS, Infosys participating. And on the way down, you had NTPC, State Bank of India, Eicher Motors. These were stocks which were a bit subdued. But let's tell you what we have for you on our show today. We start with the top movers and shakers of the day with Hormuz. The sector of the day was IT, with Wipro taking charge. Meanwhile, shares of PVR Inox also surged following box office success of the recent release Kalki. Stay tuned, we'll get you all the dope on that. And last but not the least, we delve into the key market events to watch out for to prepare you for tomorrow. But now it's over to Hormuz now. He's at the big wall with all the top movers of the day. Hormuz.
Well, since cricket is the flavor of the week, start off with the cricketing analogies. The way the Nifty is moving, it's playing as if there are no fielders on the park. It's futile to talk about a resistance level right now on the Nifty. Same goes for the broader markets as well. Yet another good day. And every single day, there is a sector that puts its hand up to take the Nifty higher. It was banks for the week gone by. Now it's IT and TCS, Infosys. Wipro was the one that led the charge, though, after that double upgrade from CLSA. And mid-cap IT had a very good day itself. And Oracle Financial, Persistent Systems ending 6% higher, and some bit of recovery towards the close of trade as well for these mid-cap IT names. And somewhere towards the second half of the trading session, cement stocks saw a bit of a spike in the session, and there you can see almost all of these stocks moved in tandem around 1:30 or 2 o'clock, and Orient Cement ended 14% higher in today's session. ACC, Ambuja, Shree Cement, Ultratech, all of them seeing gains of anywhere between 2 to 5%. Now, defense as a theme continues to remain in the spotlight, but within the defense theme, it is the shipbuilders that are continuing to hog the limelight. Garden Reach now, it was that order win worth 21 million that took the stock 10% higher. Cochin Shipyard had won an order last week. Mazagon Dock also had a good day in today's session. Auto sales were the flavor as well in today's session. Most of the auto stocks reacting to their numbers, but not a significant reaction in any of these names, barring Atul Auto, where even for the month of June and on a year-to-date basis, the sales figures have doubled on a year-on-year basis. So that is why the stock ending 20% higher in an upper circuit. And lastly, some of the companies that came out with their business updates. PVR Inox, not technically a business update, but because of the healthy box office collection from the recent release, 5% higher there. APL Apollo as well came out with a business update towards the close of trade, 4% higher. Coal India, Karur Vysya Bank and REC after the business update today, ending 5% higher. Back to you guys.
Okay, all right. Hormuz, thanks a lot for that. Well, joining us on the show today, we have Sudip Bandyopadhyay of Inditrade Capital and Shilpa Rout of Prabhudas Lilladher, who joins us on the show. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a lot and welcome to the show. Well, Shilpa, you go first. As Hormuz said, it appears there seems to be no real resistance for the Nifty. You know, we're going on climbing higher. Who would have thought? 23,500, 24,000. Where are we headed from here?
Definitely. In fact, if you see today's closing, it's been like an all-time, high closing. We've actually seen higher levels for Nifty, but the closing was not this high. But today, I guess this is the lifetime high closing, one can say. And from here, definitely it's hinting that 24,500 is something that you can look forward to even, maybe this week here. So now for any declines that you find towards 23,800 to 850 should also be some sort of buying opportunity, and look for targets of 24,500. And in that aspect, Bank Nifty also again consolidating and holding very strong. So this any dip towards 52,000 to 51,500 should be that buying area, and it is again all set to test 52,500 to 54,000 levels.
Okay. Let's talk about IT, sector of the day, closing with a gain of nearly 2%. What aided the momentum in the morning was that double upgrade by CLSA on Wipro. So CLSA upgraded Wipro to an outperform and raised the target price to 607. There are two key reasons for that. One, there are initial signs of success under the new CEO, Srinivas Pallia, who took over very recently. In the quarter gone by, earlier in June, the company announced a very large $500 million deal win. It was a net new communication deal, and this is the biggest order that they've seen in the last 3.5 years. And secondly, the window is now open for the company to announce a buyback. The last one, I think, closed towards the end of June. So there is a potential of a buyback. So these are the two reasons why CLSA is bullish. But secondly, brokerages are on the whole expecting a pickup in growth rate. We did a very quick poll of, Kotak, UBS, CLSA and Ambit. So it's not a very comprehensive poll as of now. We'll get to that closer to the numbers. But you can see that, the street is expecting a pickup. Infy is likely to lead with a 2.5% growth rate. For Wipro, after 5 quarters of a revenue decline, this time it could be a flat performance. Now this pickup in growth rate could be led by 1, June is a seasonally strong quarter, 2, large deal ramp-up execution of that, and 3, according to Kotak, a reducing intensity of cuts in discretionary programs. Also, the fact that the guidance is going to be stable this time, no further cuts in the guidance, will also be read positively. So consensus is that, HCL Tech, Infy, the ones who give you an annual guidance are likely to hold on to it, similar to what Accenture did. The stocks are seeing a lot of interest. Now, IT was a laggard. I think till May, we had seen a lot of brokerage downgrades. We had seen EPS estimates getting cut, PED rating. But now with the momentum in the month of June, when the Nifty IT index has gone up nearly 14-15%, we've seen the Nifty IT index turn positive and show you a gain of close to about 4.5%. That said, the valuations are now at a premium given the recent rally. So ISEC says the Nifty IT index is trading at 27 times forward multiple, a 32% premium to the Nifty 50, much higher than the average premium that it trades at. Sudip, the price action today, the top gainers were Tech Mahindra and Wipro. And these are the two stocks where the valuations are reasonable versus peers. Is that the market's tilt, that go for the ones which have underperformed, where there is room for scope? Or do you think it's still too early to bet on a Wipro and a Tech Mahindra?
Well, Wipro is one stock which we have been watching very carefully. And, the deal win which they had announced, I think last month, was really good. and after quite some time coming from Wipro, a deal win of such a magnitude. And of course, this buyback thing is very much on the radar of the market, and they're expecting some excitement there as well. So considering everything, I think Wipro definitely looks like a good bet. I mean, of course, you have to be a little aggressive investor to take that bet because it may or may not work out. But I think Wipro, if you're an aggressive investor, it's a good bet at current levels. Of course, today the upgrade has come, price has moved up, but still it does look good. HCL Tech has also potential to go up. And yes, valuation-wise, it is relatively attractive compared to its peers. And one can look at that. But if I have to pick up, one of the other stocks, I think I'll go for Infi because we are expecting a much better quarter from Infi. Probably one of the best quarters from Infi compared to the other large cap IT companies.
Okay, got that. Well, hang on, Sudip. Let's get to this first stock of the day then. PVR, it surged nearly 5% in trade. This after the movie Kalki recorded a strong box office collection over the weekend, becoming 2024's highest grossing film in only 3 days. Vamakshi is on top of that. She joins us to fill us in with a quick analysis. Vamakshi.
Well, absolutely. It was a blockbuster weekend for the movie Kalki, and it turns out that it happened to be a blockbuster Monday for PVR Inox as well. Yes, Kalki did become 2024's highest grossing Indian film in only 3 days. In fact, total net India box office revenue for the film stood at 302 crores as per a note from Nuvama. Apart from that, the content pipeline going forward looks quite healthy, and this has come in after 7 lackluster months of, there weren't many releases that were coming through. And in fact, going forward, there are a lot of releases that the audiences will be watching out for, both from Bollywood, regional cinema as well as Hollywood, and that is because Hollywood content is now finally seeing a comeback after settlement of writer's strike last year. But apart from that, some other triggers include that the ad revenue, according to the company, is expected to reach pre-COVID level on an absolute basis by FY25. The company's cost initiatives could also bear fruit over the medium term. They are also working towards reducing that debt. They aim to be debt-free over the next couple of years. They've got a large land bank of nearly 300 to 400 crores, which they are expecting to monetize in order to bring down debt. Premiumization of portfolio is another factor that is driving the stock, and that is because it has better margins. They're expecting to raise the premium portfolio from 14% to 20%, so that again bodes well. Overall, brokerages too are very optimistic. Nuvama and MK both have a buy. With the Nuvama's target price is at 1,995, while that for MK is at 1,650 per share.
Shilpa, do you expect PVR to play a bit of a catch-up? Because year to date, PVR has been an underperformer and it's down 10%.
Yes, but if you look at the data, 1540 zones, it acts as a resistance, time and again. So till we don't sustain above 1540, there's not much of an upside that we can talk about. But however, if it does, then the levels of 1700 cannot be ruled out as well. But for now, one should just wait and watch. This 1540 is, at least breached decisively.
Right. Well, got that, Shilpa. Sudip, what about you? Have you watched the film?
Well, Nigel, I haven't yet watched the film. This weekend,
tell us about the stock then.
Cricket and football. Well,
yeah.
As far as the stock is concerned, I think I'll be a bit cautious. We have seen hardly any good release and hardly any good news as far as PVR is concerned for the last 3-4 months. I'll wait and watch. Kalki, of course, brings cheer back there, but I'll wait and watch about the new releases and the excitement. Of course, the corporate action around selling the land bank can create temporary excitement around the stock. But fundamentally, I'll wait and watch for some more time before I take a call. And as things stand today, I don't think I will recommend a buy.
Okay. Indus Towers was also a big mover today. In fact, Indus Towers is up for the 6th day in a row. In 1 month, it's up 10%, and this year, the stock has practically doubled. Now, some of the key reasons why Indus Towers has been a big beneficiary of all the telecom-related news flow. One, Indus Towers is a B2B player. All the other companies, the operators are B2C, and B2C is where the competitive pressure intensity is a lot higher. Now, Industars is also a beneficiary of the improvement in the financial health of any operator, particularly a Vodafone Idea. So, according to an IFL old note, it came out in April, that when Vodafone Idea starts spending on its capex, Industars could garner nearly 80% market share. So, whenever there is an increase in the location count, Industars would be a beneficiary. Also, because of the trouble surrounding Vodafone Idea, there were a lot of receivables owed by Vodafone Idea to Indus, which will now get cleared, and therefore the hope is that Industars will go back to paying a dividend to its shareholders, and finally the stock is trading at a discount to global peers. So that's another added factor. Sudip, Industars, people like the story. It's gone through a long period of pain in 2023, in the beginning of 2024, and now things have turned around. But is it all in the price, according to you?
Well, I think there is still scope for excitement back in Indus Tower. The fact that it quotes at a significant discount to global peers is something which we should note. And on the sheer facts that Vodafone expansion is bound to happen. They need to expand their 4G and 5G offerings. They need to gain customers, and that will definitely help Indus Tower in a big way. Also, the clearing of the receivable does help Indus Towers. So these are real tangible benefits which Indus Tower will get. And at some point of time with these happening, the valuation catch-up also will happen. So, for a long-term investor's point of view, there's absolutely no harm in buying Indus Tower. And remember, the operators may change, operators may flourish or flounder, but the tower companies, as long as they can collect the receivables, they should keep growing.
Okay, all right. Well, that's about Indus Towers. One of the big movers actually post the clear out of that large trade. The stock has given close to around 15% returns, all this in a matter of under 2 weeks. Well, let's focus on the other space then that was in focus, auto sales numbers. Well, companies, they have started reporting their numbers for the month of June. Maruti, well, they reported numbers to 12% rise in their sales numbers as compared to the same month last year. Bajaj Auto, Mahindra & Mahindra, Eicher Motors, all of them as well reported improved sales performance. While Escorts Kubota as well as Ashok Leyland, they saw a bit of a dip in the June sales numbers. Sonia joins us to run us through the fine print. Sonia, take it away.
Well, thanks a lot for that. So, it's been a mixed bag for the auto sector this time. So, we're getting a lot of the numbers thick and fast. Let me take you through some of them. For Bajaj Auto, actually, the sales growth was better than what the muted expectations were. So, we saw barely a 5% growth for Bajaj Auto, and this was because the two-wheeler exports continue to see pressure because pockets like Nigeria, Egypt, etc. continue to struggle a little bit with growth. So domestic sales were up 8%, but export sales were up only 1%. Moving on to Escorts Kubota, the weakness continues in the month of June. Company says that a delayed pickup in the retail season impacted sales this time, and the June total sales are down 2.6% on a year-on-year basis. Let's move to M&M, which was a mixed bag this time. Auto sales saw double-digit growth, 11%. SUV sales were strong with a growth of 23%, while tractors continue to be in single digits, up just about 6%. The company says that retail momentum has definitely picked up, supported by land preparation and an increase in Kharif crop sowing. Maruti has also come out with their numbers. Now, there the auto sales are looking strong and they are higher than what the street was estimating. Total sales growth of 12.5% year-on-year for Maruti, coming in at 1.79 lakh units. Now, this is because of a strong jump in export sales for Maruti. So, if you look at it, exports are up 57% year-on-year, coming in at 31,033 units. Domestic sales are largely quiet, but it's a pickup in exports which the street will definitely like. And finally, you also have Ashok Leyland, where the total sales are down about 2%. Medium and heavy commercial vehicle sales are down 4%. LCV sales are up just about 3%. So, commercial vehicles are slightly on in the slow lane right now, but passenger vehicles like Maruti doing very well. Back to you.
Sonia, thank you very much for that. Sudip, your preferred pick in the auto pack?
Well, I was liking Bajaj Auto all this while, but I think slowing down of export is a matter of concern. So I will refrain from recommending that at this stage. I also like Mahindra & Mahindra, and I'll continue to bet on that. There has been significant run-up in prices as far as Mahindra & Mahindra is concerned. But I strongly believe that tractor sales pick up as well as other farm equipment sales pick up on the back of good monsoon can further take Mahindra & Mahindra up. So I will continue to bat for Mahindra & Mahindra.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. Sudip and Shilpa, we need to slip into a very short break. On the other side, we'll get you the top corporate voices and the key market events to watch. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Let's get you some corporate voices, the important ones that we heard earlier today. First, Bengaluru-based Healthcare Global Enterprises has strengthened its dominance in cancer care as it buys a 51% stake in Vizag-based Mahatma Gandhi Cancer Hospital. The management says the acquisition is expected to enhance the return on capital employed, or ROCE, and will be funded through internal accruals and debt. They anticipate the asset to contribute 15% to the overall revenue growth. Moving on, shares of IREDA gained in trade. The company is looking to float its FPO in the second half of the financial year, and the management says they are looking to raise anywhere between 4,000 to 5,000 crore rupees. The company has also formally requested the Ministry for inclusion under the 54 EC of the Income Tax Act, a move that is aimed at reducing the borrowing cost.
Well, Happy Forgings as well was on our radar. The management said that they expect revenue to grow by more than 15%, with gross margins improving by 100 to 200 basis points in FY25. They added that they plan to increase exports from 20 to 30% over the next 2 financial years. Shares of real estate company Signature Global also gained today in trade. This after they announced the launch of their premium residential project, Titanium SPR, in Gurugram. They have sold around 85% of the total units at an average realization of 16,000 rupees per square foot. In FY25, the company targets to achieve 10,000 crore rupees of pre-sales.
Okay, let's wrap up the show. But before that, let's get you the key market events to watch out for. Sonal is joining in with that list. Sonal.
Thank you for that. Well, a handful of stocks that will be on our radar first because a lot of them have their annual general meeting. It's Indian Overseas Bank and Alkyl Amines. So some management commentary, something that we'll be watching out for. 4 stocks in focus on the back of dividend X date. So that will be the adjustment we'll see tomorrow. There's Jyoti Labs, Epigra Limited and Dalmia Bharat. Bajaj Consumer, because it's the record date for their buyback as well. The stock has been buzzing in trade off late. In terms of global setup, economic data, we have EU inflation rate on a YOY basis for the month of June. The June unemployment rate as well. And important commentaries that will be coming in from the central bank chiefs, Fed Chair Jerome Powell and ECB's Christine Lagarde. So any commentary on inflation and rate cuts will be closely watched out for.
Okay, all right, Sonal, thanks a lot for that. Well, on that note, we'll have to wrap up on this edition of Markets Forward. We'll be back with more news and updates on the other side.